From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello everyone, welcome to OpenLine. I am Ben Hall. Good show tonight. We are talking about how difficult it is to care for a loved one as they age. What are some of the things you need to be doing if you're caring for, say, a mother or father who is getting older? Maybe you yourself are getting older. What are some things as far as assisted living or paying for the cost of a nursing home or will or a trust? We're very happy to have with us someone who is with us often, Tim Takacs, elder law attorney. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. It's good to see you looking summery today.
No tie today.
No tie, yeah.
The story I was working on today took me out, and I just no tie.
No tie.
I was like, I can hang out with Tim Takacs.
Yeah, we can.
Bow tie, no
tie. No tie. Right, exactly. So yeah, and certainly I'm always glad to be here. You know, I'm on every month. Sometimes in the usually morning, evening. So next month I'll be.
And you encourage people to call in with their situations,
right.
and I tried to explain kind of what elder law is, but tell us what it is from your perspective, maybe what you're seeing when people come into your office. How do you define it?
Yeah, and maybe the best way for me to explain what happens, what elder law is to talk about a case that just recently came into our office. Daughter comes in with her husband. She's in her mid-60s and her husband's mid-60s, and she's found herself basically almost sort of suddenly thrust into being a caregiver for her 88-year-old parents. Husband and wife, they're living in their own home in Nashville. They have some money, certainly enough money to live on and retire on and basically take care of themselves. But sort of the interesting part about a lot of these situations is that the daughter has kind of been the daughter for a long time, and she's got two sisters, and she's primarily being the one that's sort of taking, kind of looking after her parents. Well, Daddy is now he's starting to decline. He has been the primary caregiver for his wife for the last several years. And now suddenly, the daughter has discovered that, okay, now what do I do? My father has been caregiver for Mom for all of these, for 7 or 8 years, and now he's losing the ability to function. He's starting to develop dementia, cognitive impairment, and so now all of these sort of things go through her head about how can we get care at home? Is that the best place for Mom and Dad? How do I manage the finances? What does it mean for me to step up and take charge? What happens if Mom and Dad go, no, you can't do that, we want to stay here? All of those sorts of things. Daddy wants to keep driving, and she's going, oh my gosh, we don't want him to drive. How do you get him to stop driving? What's the right way to do that without in a dignified way to do that.
Right.
All of those sorts of things that are running through her head. And so she comes into our office and goes, here's my story, now what do I do?
What's the biggest mistake you see people making? I mean, I've heard you say they don't plan, but they don't plan on what level? Is it that driving conversation? Is it the nursing home and then they can't afford a nursing home?
The biggest mistake I think people make, and I don't know that children make it so much as parents, but maybe they all do, is that the parents, particularly the older parent, doesn't think anything bad's going to happen to them, or that if something bad's going to happen to them, it's going to be very quick and very sudden, and then they're going to drop dead, and then that's going to be it. But nobody thinks, very few of our older clients think about, well, what happens if I get, if I lose ability to function, and maybe this is something that could go on for several years. How am I going to take care of myself? What if I've got a spouse? Can I rely on my children or other family members to be my caregivers? Is that the appropriate thing to do? Because I don't want to be a burden on them. At what point do they decide that they want to relinquish a little bit of their independence is what they think about. And all of that is, like I said, is things like driving, big things like that. That they're really worried about. And I think that's the biggest thing is people thinking that nothing bad's going to happen to them.
Well, we always encourage people to call in. We already have several calls. Let's go to Kevin. Hello, Kevin.
Yes.
Hi, what's on your mind?
Well, my question is, I'm 58. I was forced into retirement 2 years ago. I have not fully vested my 401k, and now I'm disabled. So my question is, how do I get the disabled status?
Okay.
And where do I go from there? Do I get a lawyer first, or try it on my own?
All right, so Kevin says that he's 58 years old. I guess, what do you say, stopped working a couple years ago?
Right, forced to retire.
And now he finds himself being unable, what he feels like he's unable to work. And so it sounds like he's worked for several years, and so the first thing to know about a situation like that is that because it sounds like he's worked for several years, that he could qualify or potentially qualify for Social Security disability. You know, and that is a monthly payment that people who are unable to work and have earned a certain number of quarters, and you earn quarters by either being married to somebody who has earned quarters, a spouse, you know, a dependent, or, you know, you've worked, you know, you are participating in the workplace. You work 40 quarters, you know, 10 years, you're fully eligible. And then the question is that he has to go down to the Social Security Administration office and make an application. You know, so one of the things that if he lives in Nashville, for instance, he'd call the office in Metro Center, the Social Security Administration there, and make an appointment. Or he can go to one of the other branch offices and make an appointment there, you know, and make his application, and they will assist him. He doesn't. Typically, people who are trying to apply for Social Security disability, they don't hire lawyers until they typically get a denial 2 or 3 times.
So he doesn't need to go hire a lawyer.
Not right
but it's
now.
a good idea to start the process.
Start the process. I mean, because we all know he's not getting any younger. He can't work, or he says he can't work. Presumably, you know, he wants to work. Hopefully. He was forced out of retirement or into retirement for whatever reason. He's now running out of money, apparently. And it's not Social Security disability is not what we call a means-tested benefit. In other words, I sometimes say is Bill Gates can get on Social Security disability if he made all the other qualifications.
So it doesn't matter how wealthy you are.
Yeah, how much wealth or how much income you are. It's strictly based on, can you work and do you have enough quarters, you know, to qualify.
Okay. All right, I hope that helps, Kevin. Let's go to Dennis. Hello, Dennis.
Hello.
Hi, what's on your mind?
Hello?
Hi, Dennis, are you there?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
What I've got is a Supreme Court order against a judge to not hear my case years ago. And since then, the judge has ruled on my against me 4 or 5 different times, signed orders, and gave custody away from a child.
Well, now, all right, we're talking about elder law, so this is not elder law.
Yeah, it's really not. But let's try to help Dennis anyway, just sort of briefly. That,
okay.
You know, certainly, you know, it sounds like he needs to go hire an attorney. If he doesn't have an attorney, he needs to go hire one. If he's got an attorney, then of course, you know, he needs to acquaint those facts with, you know, or find another lawyer. So, you know, I mean, he says that he's got a court order that says this judge can't hear his case. Then, you know, he needs to take action on that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're gonna take a break. We have a lot of calls. We're on the line. Hold on. There are a couple lines open if you want to call.
Absolutely.
737 plus 737-7587. That is the number. We will take a break. Be back right after this.